Before I was chasing after cash and money. Now I'm really just chasing after God. Really.
That's amazing. That actually is amazing because the truth is God has the ability to give you the cash.
Yeah.
He just does. Hi, everyone. It's Meet the Fam, and I have Dean with me. Dean, I'm so excited to introduce you to all my friends. And Dean is a big part of the fam here at GT, and he's been around almost a year. Is that correct?
Almost a year, April 17th.
April 17th. So we're coming right on to a year anniversary of being here on the campus. And Dean, tell me, how did you land here? Well, let's back up before that. Tell me about your childhood. What was childhood like?
So childhood was, I grew up with an alcoholic mother.
Oh.
My dad raised me.
Did that mean your mom was in the house an alcoholic? A little bit of the time? Was she an alcoholic? Was she a raging?
She was a raging alcoholic, but I wasn't around her too much.
Okay, so she wasn't in the home, but she was an alcoholic that took her to the streets?
Drugs took her to the streets.
Drugs.
Later on.
Drugs and alcohol, both.
Yes.
So when you were born, she was just an alcoholic.
Yes.
And then later she turned to drugs and then left the house?
She got kicked out, long story short.
Okay.
Her and my brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So only the baby. Only the baby stayed with daddy.
Yeah.
So you have half-brothers.
Half-brothers,
that
correct.
went with mom, and there was addiction involved in all of that.
Yes.
Oh, that's very hard.
It is.
So you didn't grow up with a mama at all.
No.
So how is it when I over mama people?
I love it. I love it.
I
really
love
do.
you. I love you. I joke and say he was 19 years old. And how tall are you, Dean?
I'm about 6'5".
About 6'5". I think he's all of 6'5". He's a big boy. And he got dropped off here at the church. Tell us how that happened.
Well, I got encouraged to do something stupid.
Was that a good friend of yours?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good friend of mine.
And he
still is.
And you were 19?
I was 19.
That's wonderful. I know that about you. You always quickly forgive people, and you actually are an amazing person.
Yeah.
So he thought up something and said, here, you ought to do this. And you're like, why not?
Yeah. And one thing led to another. I ended up in county for a little over a month.
So this had nothing to do with drugs, nothing. So you haven't ever gone out on that wild one, right?
No
drugs, no girls involved. This was just a error.
It was
an error in judgment.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And that gave you a vacation?
A little bit of vacation. Yeah. Not the vacation that I expected or wanted, but maybe it was a little bit needed for some discipline.
Okay. So you landed in county for 1 month.
About a month and a half.
Month and a half. And did that make you determine that that was not going to be a part of your life?
100%.
You're like,
100%.
Did you read your Bible in county?
I did. Yes, I did read my Bible.
Did you come up with any favorites?
A Bible verse?
Uh-huh.
I did. Let me pull it up real quick.
Favorite Bible verses. County is a great place to get to know your Bible.
Yeah, right here. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother.
Ooh. And you have actually done really well at forgiving your mom.
Of course, I visit her.
That's awesome.
I always visit her at the, she's homeless, but I visit her at the park. I help her every way that I can. I love her.
That is beautiful.
I love her.
I want to meet her one day.
You will.
I want you to even take me down there and let me meet her at the park. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So she has to have some good qualities.
She has an amazing quality.
I know that because I know she's your mama. And you are an amazing young man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Honestly, from the day Dean got here, we're just like, what just happened? God dropped off this 6'5" plus young man that has just got a heart of gold. Always really a blessing. He's always going out of his way to help people and just cheery, always looking on the bright side. I'm like, where did you come from? And he's like, county jail. I'm like, no. But you've been amazing from the very beginning. I adore you, and I know you know that.
I love you too, Mama Cheryl.
I love you very much. Just proud of you, and I'm proud of the man. I watch him. He's an usher now, and I'm just watching him mature. In 1 year, I'm just like, what is happening? He's really, it's amazing watching you shine. I love it.
Thank you.
Love it, love it. So let's hear a little bit more about growing up. So mom is absent.
Yes.
Because addiction, which we are going to fight against with all of our being, right? It's like we take addiction down. Addiction is not your friend. Alcohol is not your friend. Alcohol makes you do dumb things. Have you ever done anything dumb because of alcohol or anything like that?
Yeah. I've been into a couple fights at the party off alcohol.
That seems really odd. Party, fight. In my world, parties don't turn into fights.
Yeah.
But you had a party that turned into a fight, and it was because of alcohol.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I'm not proud to say that, but yes.
I'm proud of you for saying it, though, because you're humbly saying, I don't want to be that. That's not who I am, not what I want to do. But when you take in alcohol, it says, some of the old signs would say alcohol and spirits. I just saw one in Sacramento, brand new restaurant, alcohol and spirits. And I'm like, they're advertising what happens when you get inebriated. Spirits take over. It's just true. It's really crazy. And they actually used to say that all the time. The old school bars would say alcohol and spirits. And it's because there are spiritual beings that when you get inebriated, you let them take over. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So you do not seem like an angry person at all to me.
No, not anymore. I used to be. I used to really struggle with the anger issues, but I've come a long ways with that.
You have come a very long way. I would never dream in a million years. Interesting. Very interesting. So you did your little skirmish with alcohol and that kind of stuff and thought, that's not really for me.
Yeah.
And you're only 19. You're going to turn 20. When do you turn 20?
Well, I am 20. I'm
you
turning
just
21.
So you came in at 19. And you already turned 20, now you're turning 21.
Yes.
When is your birthday?
September 18th.
Okay. Very amazing.
Yeah.
It goes by so fast. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're going to be 21. Very crazy.
Yeah.
So let's hear a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Let's go back and say, Mom is out of the house. Who raised you?
My dad.
So what was Dad like raising you? Did he take you to church?
He did not. I went to a church when I was about 12 through my own will.
What happened? How did you get to church?
Some people came on the doorstep saying, hey, we're from this church, Bible Baptist. And, they have like this big bus that says Bible Baptist on it.
That's wonderful.
And
I didn't know this about you.
Yeah. And they said, do you want to come? And I went on the bus and they had like donuts. They had cookies. I'm like, this is the best.
You would be the best bus driver to rally kids like that. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Start a ministry where you drive around, pick up kids and have
we need a big bus that says GT on it.
Wouldn't that be fun? Have donuts. Let's start another ministry. Go, Dean. That's really fun. So you jumped on a bus because somebody knocked on your door and said, do you want to go to church? We'll come pick you up. They told you what time. And what did your parents say?
Well, my dad said, go for it. My dad was not very strict growing up. He let me do quite literally whatever I wanted.
Oh, my
I love
goodness.
my dad with all my heart.
He's wonderful, yes.
He's great. I love my dad.
He was there for you, but he wasn't a disciplinarian.
He tried to be, but he wasn't consistent with it.
Okay. So how has that been coming onto the GT campus and having all kinds of rules, regulations? Don't do this. You need to do this. What do you feel like?
It's new.
It's new.
It's new.
Having some rules. I know.
Yeah.
I've said some new rules to you before when you were like, why? But you had such a good heart and attitude.
Yeah.
It's like, we just create parameters that cause success, right? Is the way I would say. We don't have a ton of rules in my world. I grew up with a lot more rules. My world, if my boyfriend brought me home late, 5 minutes late, my dad would say, never again. You'll never see her again. Yeah.
Wow.
I grew up with strict rules. And my dad was just like, no, I'm here to protect you. And if he doesn't honor me or you, then he's not a good choice for you. Like, we really need to be home on time. because I'm not going to be able to go out again. It's just the rules and regulations. One of the best parenting strategies, honestly, is lots of love, which I think your dad had. Lots of love.
Yeah.
Very loving man. He's going to raise his baby all by himself, right?
Yeah.
And so did you have another brother or anybody in the mix, or just the half brothers that went with your mom?
Just the half brothers. I had a little sister.
Okay.
I wasn't very close with her.
Okay.
She was a baby. She got taken into foster care.
Okay.
So I maybe only saw her like 5 times my whole life.
Okay. Yeah, you weren't very close. You're right. Yeah. Have you seen her lately? Don't know where she is.
I think she's in a different state. She was with her grandparents.
Okay.
And they passed away.
Okay.
So I think foster care took her into another state.
Gotcha. So you, at 12 years old, chose to go to church, and what was that like?
It was new. It was very new. A lot of loving people. I never really understood or took anything to heart that I learned.
Interesting.
But I loved the fellow. I loved making friends.
You're relational. Yeah. So you went for the community.
Yeah, since I was a kid.
Or the donuts.
Yeah, the donuts was kind of like the dead giveaway. Like, oh yeah, this place is for me.
I know you well enough to know that you like the donuts. But really, the relationship was what you're looking for. You're looking for the family.
Yeah, because I think really deep down, that's something that I never really had until I came here, was like a big functional family.
You got a big, that is a really good way to say what we've got.
Yeah.
Big functional family. And it is a family. We have
great.
It's wonderful. He's talking about the Embassy Builders, and he's a part of the Embassy Builders program. And I don't call it a program really, because it's really a family.
Yeah.
It's not a program. It's very, from my perspective, fairly loose and fairly open. You get a lot of room, but we do have rules. We're now dialing that in a little bit more. You guys, the guys all get up and they meet at 8 o'clock, right?
8 o'clock for work, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 to 4.
Okay, so you work from 8 to 4. You get together for a joint meeting in the morning, and then you go out and do all of the different chores. You do a lot of landscape, is that right?
Yeah, I'm mainly on landscape. Sometimes I'll pitch in moving furniture. If there's something new to learn, I'm there for it,
That's awesome. But you've learned how to do the landscape very, very well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a really good hang of it.
Yeah, dialed that in. And honestly, you're always willing to learn. I know that about you. You've got a great heart. Yeah. So tell me, did you ever throw a TV off of a balcony?
No.
I thought that was going to be a yes. What happened when you wanted to get rid of your video games?
Oh, the game. Okay, so
it's different. I said I was trying to figure out how I lead in. I obviously led in wrong.
Yeah. So when I was about 17, I've been addicted to Xbox ever since I was like 10. I had a huge gaming addiction. I know gaming addiction. I don't know how common that is.
It's very common. It's very, very common.
Yeah. But
so what did it look like for you?
It looked like I would never go out. The only time I went out was to smoke and drink with friends.
Oh, wow.
And one night I'm just laying there smoking marijuana, and I'm thinking this life is not right. I'm not living a good life. I'm smoking. I'm wasting my time on the Xbox. I want to get my life started, and I want to do something with myself. I said, how am I going to do that when tomorrow I'm just going to do the same thing, wake up and play Xbox?
Yep.
And it struck me that I'm just going to have to destroy it. So I did. I took it into the backyard. I shot it with the BB gun.
Oh, that's right. That's what you did.
And then I took my TV out, shot that with the BB gun.
Yeah, you shot.
I just destroyed everything.
That's right. I remember now. I remember I was so surprised. I was like, interesting. I thought you threw it off a balcony. Somebody else threw something off the balcony in that setting when we were all learning about each other.
Yeah.
You shot your TV.
I did.
That's really pretty funny to me, because I am not a TV fan. I'm not a... Gaming can take your life. It really can.
It can, and it did. It really did.
And so what happened after that? You didn't have your Xbox. You could have sold it, but you were ready to kill it.
So it was about 3 a.m, and I knew the next day I would have completely changed my mind, and
It's true.
So if I didn't act on it then,
That's
I would
wisdom.
have never acted on it.
That's wisdom. That's really wisdom. You had an impulse to break the thing that was holding you
Yeah, because
captive.
I would have sold it. I really would have sold it for like 50 to $100.
Yeah.
But I knew if I was to wait till the next day to sell it, even if I put it up in the shelf, I would have completely changed my
It would
mind.
have kept its hook in you.
Yeah.
So then next day, what happened when all of a sudden your gaming is gone?
Well, at first it was like, why did I just do that? You know? And I always use the Xbox as a coping mechanism for my, like, you know, when I get sad. It was always my coping mechanism. So now that I didn't
Interesting.
have that, I had to work on my emotions on my own. So it was a huge change. It was rough at first.
Yeah, you're having to deal with stuff. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. So, what would you say is one of the best things God has taught you over the time that you've been here? What kinds of things would you say have changed in your life?
Maturity.
You've matured
A lot.
a ton,
Yeah.
a ton, which is responses and reliability, right?
Yeah.
All that. What would you say? What is different about your life after being here for a year?
Well, I'm a lot more calm. You know, I used to be like all over the place. When I first came here, I never worked. I'd always slack off, do something else.
Find a
But-
way out of work.
Yeah. And the longer
No.
I've been here, I've been getting some really good work ethic.
You have. You're coming to the front, showing up early, and it's like day off. What do you want to do? Let me help you. Let's get that done. I'm
Yeah.
like, Dean, that's amazing. That's a wonderful quality. It's beautiful. I've watched it quite a number of times. And Ed Mason, just the other day, he was like, those guys deserve a lot. I think he even said you went in there. Did you clean out the kitchen grill or
I
something?
did. I did the grill. I don't know what it's called. It's like an air duct, an
Oh,
airway.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I cleaned that. I had my head up there for
The head
hours.
vent thing, the head, I don't know what
Yeah,
that's called.
I
It is
don't-
duct. It's duct work.
I think so.
But you're scrubbing grease out of there.
Yeah, with all these chemicals and like my head's trapped up there and I'm breathing in these chemicals. I had the mask on, but it's still getting to me. It's like,
That was a lot.
I got it cleaned. It's shiny.
It's
very
super shiny. And Ed told me afterwards, he's like, that kid, he said, you did a great job and he deserves a big applause. And a few of the other guys too. Obviously, everybody working on the
Oh, yeah.
kitchen hit it out of the ballpark. Who all was in there on that project?
James,
Yeah.
Zach was a huge help too.
Yeah.
And me, Zach, James, Devlin. Devlin is always helping around. I love that guy.
He's wonderful. He knows a lot. Devlin is our maintenance guy, one of our maintenance guys. Brian Nelson is another maintenance guy. Those guys just get a lot done.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of working knowledge and they can share some of that sometimes. So you just gutted the kitchen, cleaned the whole big commercial grade kitchen,
Yeah.
right?
And there's a guy who is helping there. He's not an embassy builder. His name's Jason. That guy was going at it. I was like, dang.
Jason is a single father and he's
Yeah.
raising two little children.
Yeah, I talked to him about that because, you know, I grew up with the with
you
the
did. Yes, you
single
did.
dad. So I talked to him and I told him, like, dude, you're doing such a good job. I see those kids love you. They're obsessed with you.
That's
You're
awesome.
disciplining them when they need to be discipled. You're
It's wonderful.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so encouraging for him to hear that from you,
Yeah.
too. How beautiful. Amazing. So, what else about since you've been here? You said you're maturing. That's very, very obvious. I think everybody's seeing that. You signed up, you're wanting to be an usher. And what other things have you've been involved in greeting? Do you greet sometimes? It seems like I see you greeting all
Sometimes.
the time, but you're not a
Well-
greeter. You just greet people.
Yeah, I just stand out there and I just say hi to everyone.
You're just welcoming
Yeah.
people. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Wonderful. There's lots of stuff you can do, lots of ways to be involved, but he's involved all week long. And what I see is on Saturdays, Mondays, somebody's needing a project done. I think I saw you out there helping clean out the Connex box the other day. Was it Pat who was cleaning out the Connex box out by there? Were you not there? Let's see. I know Matt was there.
What was this?
Oh, it wasn't that long ago, Pat. You might have been off campus somewhere. Then maybe you weren't the one. There were three guys out there working their little heads off. They were working. So you weren't one of those guys. You were off campus. Yeah, you might have been somewhere else. Have you been up to the Piece of Heaven building?
I have. Yes, I have.
What were you doing up there?
Well, last time I was there, we were just bringing in furniture, setting up.
Did you go down? Were you a part of going to that hotel that gave us all that furniture? Most people don't even,
I did. I was a part of
they
it.
don't even know about that. So what did we pick up down there?
We picked up a lot of furniture.
What kind of a hotel was it? Do you know?
It was
Was it a Hilton?
Hilton. Yes, it was a Hilton. It was in San Mateo.
Yep.
I think it's called San Mateo.
Yeah. So a Hilton hotel called us, said, we'll give you all of our hide-a-beds. We'll give you all of our lamps. We'll give you all of our office chairs.
Yeah.
So I think we got, 50, I don't know how many rooms. I think it was like maybe even more. I don't want to minimize, but I don't want to overstate. But all those hide-a-beds, are hide-a-beds heavy?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. And I'm not going to take all the credit because there were guys who spent the night in the hotel so they could wake up and work again. I worked at Bishop's. I had work the next day, so I couldn't make it.
So did you get to go down on part of the trip?
I did. I went down on the first day. When the day was over, me and Brian Nelson, we went back with the U-Haul back to the church.
Brought back one. Gotcha. Well, yeah, some of the rest of the team stayed over because there was way too much. Way too much stuff to bring. But they brought all that back for Piece of Heaven. And so we have lamps, we have office equipment, just tons of stuff. So that's a fun thing that you guys have been able to do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then you took a trip to Oregon?
Yes.
Was it Washington?
Washington.
Yeah. So was that the first time you've been out of the state?
It was the first time. It was new. You know, it was a far distance. So sitting in the car for so long.
It is.
It was new, but
It's a
I loved it.
14-hour drive.
Yeah.
And you got to go to the ocean.
Yeah, that was great. I was the only one who jumped in. I think it was a little bit under 40 degrees, almost
Freezing.
30 degrees.
It's so cold. That water up there is so cold.
Yeah, and I jumped in. I was the only one who did.
Dean is really like a big puppy. He just goes out there, dives in playing, just having fun. It's beautiful. His heart is so wonderful. And what would you do when as you grow older, what are your heart's goals? Like, what would you love if you could do anything? Have you ever thought about that and said, you know what, as far as a job or, if you were to stay on campus, which is not your goal, but if you had to be a part of this community forever, what would you want to be? Would you want to be
I think I just want to be kind of what Devlin's doing in a way. Maintenance, just going around, fixing everything, being like the Superman kind of.
I was trying to figure out if you were going to be the pastor. No.
Maybe. You never know. God has plans.
Trust me, you never know. You never know what
There's a Bible college here.
There is a Bible college here, and you guys can go to it for free.
Yeah.
And get it accredited. You can have a 2-year accreditation.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing. Yeah. And the truth is the call of God on someone's life. I see God's hand in your life at a deep level, and you're always caring about other people. You're wanting to do the right thing and really sincere about, I caught you the other day and you were, what time was it? 10:30, and you're like going to go out on a walk and talk to God, right? And I was like, come talk to me. And then you can go talk to God too. But he's very sincere, sincere. It's like, no, I just want to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing with all of my heart.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that about you, Dean. It's a beautiful quality, and you never know what you would be around here.
Yeah.
I wondered what you would say, but obviously you could you are in the middle of all of the lawn mowing, but you love the superhero, you say Devlin, he jumps in and he's fixing it for everybody.
Yeah, whenever I see Devlin, he's always on a mission, walking super fast to fix something. I'm like, that's a good man right there.
It is true. Man. And we could use 6 of those, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, it's just, there's so much going on. We just now, God brought us German Ortega, and somebody.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
He's good.
Such a good heart. And it's his first day here.
Yeah.
But someone actually funded him to be able to be on staff. So they're paying his way to be on staff.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. And, anybody out there listening, if you ever get a head of steam up and go, you know what, I want to fund somebody to be able to be a part of something. Some of these guys are such gifts and blessings that in the long run, I would love to see all of you incorporated into all kinds of things. It's exciting watching what God's doing in your life.
Yeah. It's great.
Amazing. But say off campus, what kind of thing have you thought about? What are the multiple things that you think I might want to do this or I might want to do that? Obviously, you're mechanically, you are interested in helping in the maintenance type areas.
Yeah. I want a job where I could learn a lot. Right now, I'm kind of in that phase where I'm learning all these traits, like how to operate forklifts, all these machinery, landscaping. So it ranges from I could start my own landscaping business.
Yep, it's
to
true.
being like a machine operator.
It's a good, yeah.
A lot of things.
Yeah, you're getting little pieces of different things and seeing what you really like.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are going to be very involved in building out the embassy gardens out there. I think I've heard that.
Yeah.
Building out, and that'll be really interesting because the next move there is have the pond dug out. And I'll tell a secret. And here we are on on the air. We were talking to a friend that's from out of town. He said, I'll dig that. Let me jump in with a couple of your guys. We'll dig that out real quick one weekend. So we could have a fish pond before we know it. It could happen sooner than later, but even if it's 6 months away, how fun to have that all.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Yep. And then we'll stock that and it's going to be quite fun to watch it all build out before it's over. Years down the road, you're going to be able to look back and say, I was there before that pond was ever in.
Yeah.
And people will be having fun and that whole area will be all created. It's really fun for us because where we're right now, most people don't even know this, but where we are sitting right now used to be it was like a metal gymnasium. It was just a metal barn, building right here on this place. We took it all down and took it down the street, and now it is the Hope for the Heart. That was right here. Kids, junior high, my kids grew up in the Hope for the Heart building that was sitting right here, having youth group and everything here. Everything changes, and so you never know. It's like this moved here, that's changing, and even since you've been here, didn't we do the wall mural out there on your building since you got here?
Yeah.
So that all the kind of stuff changes, and we're about to do a bunch of big painting projects and cleaning things up. But you guys are keeping it looking good. I'm very, very.
We're trying.
Oh,
We're
doing.
trying.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know what we'd do without you, actually. Without your community, we'd be in big trouble. You guys get a lot done, and we have fun too. We actually have a 3:00 meeting every Tuesday, and then on Thursdays we try to have a 3:00 meeting as well. Sometimes we get to find out about each other. Sometimes we ask crazy questions, and I don't remember all the details, but I should have brought one of my crazy questions to ask you. What's been the hardest thing about the shift in your life? What's been the hardest?
The hardest, probably facing reality. I've spent most of my life stuck in this imaginary world of video games and going out with friends doing stupid stuff and
just whatever. And now you're maturing and you're stepping into going 20 years old, and I'm a man, and I'm going to be the major provider for a family one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'm really, really looking forward to, is when God provides me with that type of family where I get to be the man of the family and
it's gonna happen.
And have some beautiful kids, a beautiful wife.
Yep. It's going to happen, and it'll be amazing. And I want to cheer you all on because I'm excited about all of that. The truth is, you've had a very good friend in your life for quite some time now, and I adore her.
Oh,
I adore her.
Our 1 year is coming up. I'm really excited.
Yep, she's a doll.
Great.
Yep, she's a doll, and God's done a lot of good things. And I sometimes see you guys at worship, and even on nights that you don't need to be there. You're in there in worship. I'm like,
I try. I really try. I love the worship, and I always try to bring Bella when I can.
Yes, you do.
She loves it too.
And she was quite the cute little cowgirl.
Yeah, all the Valentine's bash. That was fun.
We had so much fun. We always have a lot of fun.
Great.
So let's see. You could be, I'm anxious to see what this looks like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
When we look back 5 years from now, we'll be like, oh my goodness, look what's happened in Dean's life. So I'm just super, super excited
Me
for you.
too. I really am too.
It's beautiful. For me, I've asked Dean before, and Dean said, oh my word, this has been the best year of my life, which it's been discipline, a lot of, challenges and disciplines and growing and humbling yourself. And, you've had a few different jobs, right? And then really now I just see you maturing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, before I was chasing after cash and money. Now I'm really just chasing after God. Really.
That's amazing. That actually is amazing, because the truth is God has the ability to give you the cash.
Yeah.
He just does. And that reminds me of my puppy business. When God told me he wanted me to quit selling real estate, I had 8 houses in escrow, and that's a lot of money. That's a good way to make a lot of money. And I did really well at real estate, and God said, I need you to stop selling real estate, start fasting and praying. And when he said that, I told my husband, I said, honey, God wants me to stop selling real estate, start fasting and praying. And Dave said, are you going to fast and pray all the time? I said, I don't know. I just know what he told me. And as I just called Becky that very day, Becky Harrison, pitch for my friend. She is an amazing realtor. Becky Harrison is a great person to call she helps run the men's center, actually runs it at this point, and she pours her money back into those guys. It's amazing. I'm proud of Becky. But I called Becky that day. She was my assistant. I said, Becky, I need you to take over. I need to quit selling real estate. God told me. And I gave up all of that right there. And then in my quiet time of just doing what I felt like God said to do, he spoke to me and said, get an old English sheepdog and name her Shiloh. Have you heard this story a little bit? No? So he said, get an old English sheepdog and name her Shiloh. And he said that to me while I'm sitting there just, really I call it delighting in him, just saying, God, you're awesome. And as we develop that ability to be thankful in everything, be looking around, when you're out there working, go, God, you're amazing. You created these trees. They have so many different kinds of leaves and so much, all the colors, beautiful. You just be thankful, learn thankfulness. So I was in that season of life, and I was just delighting in God. And I was sitting there just saying, God, you're so awesome and so wonderful. And he said, get an old English sheepdog and name her Shiloh. And so I told my husband, and my husband was like, Cheryl, we're way too busy to get an old English sheepdog. We don't need a sheepdog. We don't need that. And I'm like, honey, I know God told me to get one. And he's like, Cheryl, we're too busy. That makes no sense at all. We're not getting a sheepdog. That's what he said. And I'm like, but honey, I know God said it. He said, Cheryl, no sheepdog. And I'm like, so sad. But I let go because I've learned about authority. And God told me that. My husband is my head here. And I submitted it to him. He said, nope. I'm like, okay. And 2 years later, we're in Germany, and we're sitting there. I was sitting there in the car. David Hogan and my husband were together in a building, and the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, you don't do what I tell you to do. And I was like, I think I do whatever you tell me. Like for me, I'm thinking I quit real estate, started fasting, and God took me on an amazing fasting journey. It was awesome. And right then he said, you don't do what I tell you to do again. And I was like, and he said, you think it makes no sense. And I'm thinking, I always do what he wants me to do. I really try. I really, really work at it like you do. It's like, let me do what I'm being asked to do. And right then, a man walks around the corner of the building with an old English sheepdog. And I was like, oh, no. So when Dave got back in the car, because Dave had said, we're not doing that because it makes no sense. When Dave walks around the corner, when Dave got back in the car, I said, honey, you're busted. Remember when I said God said we needed to get a sheepdog? And I told him about the whole thing. So Dave went and bought me a little sheepdog when we got home. And when that puppy was 2 years old, my girlfriend called and said, you're always trying to help everybody and you never have any money. And she was very right. We never had any money and we're always trying to help people. And she said, we should raise puppies together. I have a stud that I have a little boy dog, and he's a poodle, and you have a sheepdog, that would create a sheepadoodle, which they are great. You've met one of the little sheepadoodles,
Yes.
Pat's little dog, right?
Yes.
They're-
Sadie and Maggie, they're great.
Yeah,
I
yep,
love them.
yep. They're both old English sheepdogs,
Yeah.
and they're mamas. But what God did was gave me the business. And so he told me, right then we started breeding puppies. It turned into an amazing business that has helped me help people for the last 15 years. But that came out of quieting myself and going after the king and the kingdom, not my natural job, because I had a job that made a lot of money. And so this ended up being a situation that during the middle of COVID, I would be teaching and speaking on deliverance. And during the middle of speaking, I would get 3-4 phone calls, all of them buying a puppy. And they would be depositing $500, deposit $500, deposit $500. I literally had 120 puppies pre-sold for $3,000 a piece. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But that was God in that season, that you're in a season of going, I want to hear you. I'm not going to chase money. Money will come to God's ideas, and he'll give you ideas. He gives you creative ideas. So just be open to hearing his voice and hearing what he says, because your heart is very pure and you are going after the very right thing. Money will never satisfy, but the king and the kingdom will. So when did you actually give your life to Jesus?
I would say I gave my life to Jesus when I was in jail.
When you're in jail?
Yeah,
It was a real wake up.
it was.
Yeah.
It really was. I was in the holding cell, when I first came in there, and I was attending church. Before I went to jail, I was at the church in Olivehurst.
Okay.
And that they're the ones who taught me about God, about Jesus. And when I went to jail, and then when I was in that holding cell, I told God, I surrender.
That's awesome.
I surrendered to you. I just get me out of this mess,
And look at what he did.
He got me out of the mess. I mean, that was amazing.
Really incredible.
Yeah.
And he brought you here, how did that happen? How did you end up here at the Church of Glad Tidings?
So, long story short, I got kicked out of my house after I got out of jail.
How long after you got out of jail?
A week.
Oh, really
Maybe
quick.
a week. Yeah. I would say it's my fault. It really was my fault. And I got kicked out, and I was kind of in between staying with a friend and on the streets. So that was rough. And then my dad's best friend from college, his name's Mark, he took me in.
Oh.
And I think I was with him for about 4 or 5 months, and I was attending college, which is where I met the love of my life.
Oh.
And it was great. I mean, college was difficult because I'd only stay with Marks on the weekend or on the weekdays, because he had his kids on the weekend.
Oh, wow.
And it was to the point where he was like juggling me and his kids, and it was hard for him. So he's like, listen, I don't know if staying with me is the best option anymore. And we were on Live Oak Boulevard. We were coming down to the church, and he said, hey, maybe they can help you with something. And I said, what? He said, that building right there with all the trees. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm tired of rejection. Let's just get back to your house, get some sleeping bags, and I'll figure myself out. And he pulled into the church. He didn't listen to me. He pulled into the church, and he went in, and he talked to someone, and they directed him to Ed Mason. Ed Mason talked to Mark. Me and Ed Mason started talking, and he's like, yeah, we have a thing where you could stay here. I'm like, yeah, probably only going to stay here for the weekend. And
1 year later.
right. And
Wow.
yeah, so
You really, when you came, I remember the first time I met you, you had some long pajama bottoms on. Do you remember that?
did I? I
Yeah,
probably did.
You did.
Probably did.
You were out your pajama bottoms. I thought he's a very relaxed guy.
Yeah.
But I remember you thinking what a kind heart. I remember thinking what a kind-hearted young man you were. I was like, oh, he's precious, very precious, beautiful. And what changed you from just doing the weekend to actually going, this is what I want to be doing right now?
Well, I stayed the weekend, And on Monday, no, that's false. I got here on Thursday. So I stayed here Friday, Saturday, yeah, so when the weekend came, I went to my friend's house
Okay.
and I was like, okay, well, it's time to go back. So, I go to my friend's house for the night, come back in the morning. And then Sunday, I sleep here, go back to my friend's house. And I was talking to him. I said, okay, well, the weekend's about to end. So just take me back to that church. I'm going to grab my stuff and we're just going to leave and do our own thing. So I came back here. And when I went into the dorm, something did not want me to leave. And I know it was God.
Wow.
He really wanted me to stay.
So you were actually headed out that next.
Yeah, I was headed out, and I'm like, there's no way I could leave. I mean, I just started seeing all these opportunities here.
Wow.
I've never seen a place like it before. So
wow.
I told my friend, hey, just pick me up another time. I'll talk to you later.
So
and I stayed here ever since.
So you went back in thinking I'll get my stuff, and really God apprehended you and said, no, you belong here.
Yeah.
And then you've always told me, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
For sure.
And I'm like, are you okay, Dean? And he's like, are you kidding me? I'm great. This is Dean right here. He's like, I'm great. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm like, Dean, what a blessing you've been.
Oh, I appreciate that. You've been a huge blessing too.
Well,
really.
You are wonderful and you are a delight. It makes my heart happy. And it's just, this is really, it is my heart. Bill the other day said, Mama Cheryl, I think what your heart's desire of is really happening.
Yeah.
There's a community. They're really loving on each other. Now we're having more and more meals together. Right now we're getting Chipotle.
Yes.
Like a lot of Chipotle for free. They're just giving us all this Chipotle. It's amazing. It's like, God's blessing us.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Anyway, it is my heart's desire, and I'm so proud of you. I just, there's nothing that makes me happier than seeing you just grow up and be who you're called to be.
I really appreciate that.
It's beautiful.
It means a lot.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it makes my heart happy. Just a delight to my heart. So thank you, Jesus. Let's just pray for God to touch anybody's heart out there that's wondering where they belong or what they're doing, that God would give them direction like he did you. He clearly directed you.
Yeah.
And he rescued you when you were doing your little vacation in Yuba County Jail.
Yeah.
He grabbed you up and rescued you. And I need to tell Mark, thank you. You brought him here against his will pretty much, thinking, I don't know if I want to do that. And God was in it all. It's beautiful. Amazing story. So let me thank God for you in a prayer. Okay.
All right.
So God, I thank you for Dean. I thank you for really all the embassy builders, but Dean right now, I just bless him. We bless him to be all you've called him to be. God, we thank you for the friend that he is, for the gift that he is, and for the son and the blessing that he is. God, we thank you that he really represents you well, as he really has a heart to do the right thing and really wants to make good choices, God. We just bless him. We call him into his full destiny. And we just say anyone else out there that's wondering what they're supposed to be doing with their life, God, would you lead them into the full place that you have for them? Just like you really spoke to Dean that day and said, no, you're staying here, even though he thought he was leaving. God, we just thank you for the gift of Dean. Thank you for the blessing that he is. And thank you for the embassy builders and all that you want to do. God, I pray that you would give him supernatural grace to build whatever kind of a business, whatever you're intending in the long run. And thank you that he has just the heart to rest into what you want him to be here. God, what a grace that is to be 20 years old and doing that. I'm just so proud of him. We thank you for him. We bless him. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
You're a gift and a blessing and a treasure, and I am looking forward down the road to be able to look back and say, look what happened with Dean. And I have 100% confidence it will be fabulous.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
So too.
Yay, God, yay, Dean. Blessings, and we'll see you next time.